This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our friends at Regrow.
Hey, cannabis operators, got a couple questions for you. Are your SOPs tied directly to your cultivation plans? Can you easily manage your inventory and workforce and vendors from a single system? Can you manage compliance across multiple licenses and states? Do you have performance analytics to help you maximize your 24-month cultivation and manufacturing plans? If this is not the case, Regrow is there to help. They can help you maximize your yields and consistency. Think of Regrow as the single pane of glass view into your entire supply chain. They're available globally with native localization and foreign language support. So if you're a cannabis company searching for a strategic business partner to help you automate your business, scale effectively, and make the supply chain work for you, you can find Regrow at regrow.io. That's regrow.io. Regrow, the premier cloud-based cannabis supply chain management system. Jeffrey, what's up, man?
How are you today? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for coming on today. Happy New Year. This is the first podcast that I'm recording in 2022. So exciting.
Wow, we'll make it an interesting one.
Yes, absolutely. 2022 is going to be a good year. I can feel it all the way around for the cannabis industry and for everyone. So.
We need it. We need it.
Well, Jeffrey, I mean, let's start, and talk a little bit about your background. I mean, I know that you're a young entrepreneur. You bring 5 years of hands-on management and C-suite experience to Yellow Dream Farm as the founder and CEO. So tell us a little bit about, how you got there, man. And this is a family-owned business from my understanding. So tell me a little bit about the players involved also.
Yes, this is a family farm. I grew up in New York City, always a big advocate for cannabis, kind of grew around a lot of cannabis users, always using it in a productive manner, I'd say. And, when I graduated college, we had a licensing opportunity out here in Adelanto as well. And we were big advocates, as I said, as the industry. And, we decided to invest in our first startup grow. This was in 2015 when we acquired the license. We were the first medical license in Adelanto issued.
Adelanto, is that a city or a county?
It's a city. It's based in San Bernardino County. It's in the high desert.
Okay.
Mainly now known for cannabis use, but priorly a lot of prison systems and ICE facilities. So now it's kind of overrun with, cannabis farms, light dep, greenhouses, indoor. And
are there cannabis operations that operate from those prison facilities?
No. But it was this what the town was predominantly known for. But as I said, we had an opportunity to invest in a license. We did a full build out of 10,000 square feet of cultivation, 5,000 distribution. And, that was our first entry point to the market and allowing us to have some success later on, a few years later after your normal startup hiccups, dialing the product, dialing the rooms, really just getting an understanding of the cannabis industry overall.
So let me pause you. So when you say we, who's we? Is it like your immediate family, like your parents and your siblings?
It's my dad.
Your dad.
My dad and I, and now I have a brother who works with me as well, handles distribution and sales with me. So now it's really a family farm. My sister helps on the marketing and PR side. And, we've really all kind of pivoted into this industry after, my brother went to law school. My sister worked in PR for 4 or 5 years after. So we all kind of just somehow were, I guess, gravitated towards this industry with, me at the forefront of it.
That's pretty incredible. This is kind of a side note. It's kind of funny because I've been watching that show Yellowstone, and it kind of sounds like, all the kids, like how the show is, they learn their own trade to come back and work for Papa Dutton, So.
I haven't seen the show, but one goes and the rest follow.
That's cool, man. No, and so like with your siblings and your dad involved, I mean, did your dad have any experience with cannabis prior? Or I mean, this is kind of new. So how did you have to talk him into that? Like, what did that look like?
It did. I mean, to a certain extent, it was something that, I told them that, I wanted to get involved in. We never really understood as deep as it went that we do now, but overall it's been a positive learning experience. To be a young entrepreneur in the cannabis industry, I never dreamed of something, and it's definitely where somehow my passion always was, and I was able to follow that goal, move myself out to not a very pleasant place, and just really just decided to jump into it and see it through.
No, yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, you have to overcome adversity. Excuse me. Woo. Uh, Sneeze there. You have to overcome adversity in this industry, and you have to be resilient, right? And it sounds like you already have that mindset, and you're just kind of plowing through. Um,
Has a lot
so
to do with my upbringing, I think, so, always kind of a lot of work ethic involved in my upbringing, and, understanding the value of a dollar. And in the industry, you really have to spend wisely, or, it's gonna really bite you in the ass.
totally, yeah, yeah. And when you talk about your upbringing, so like, was there any cultivation experience or growing or farming kind of
Oh,
background in your
not
family?
farming, a lot of business entrepreneurship. I come from a family of operators. My dad started a lot of businesses at a young age, so I feel like I'm almost following in his footsteps. He got involved in the taxi industry and real estate and a couple other endeavors that he built from ground up. And I was happy to see him do that. And I think that's where my learning experience really is sometimes if you have, this industry is, you need to have the passion to be in it. You have to have a love for the plant. You have to treat the plant with care in order to, I think, succeed. And then if you understand how to manage your bottom line, how to operate the place efficiently, put the right procedures in place to making sure that, your costs are down, and, it gives you a chance to breathe. And especially with the volatile marketplace that we're all dealing with right now, this is, one of the only ways to succeed, I see.
Mhm. No, that's well said, man. And it's a really good segue because I mean we talked about kind of the origin and your background and kind of what led you to where you're at
I think
today.
his operational knowledge and my product knowledge, even as a young kid, man, I was, hunting around New York City. I was looking for the best sour deer, or, maybe what other strains, all these delivery services are offering. So it's, now I feel like I'm curating cannabis for, a whole community of people as opposed to my friend group.
Yeah.
So, it's like, almost going full circle, and I'm really just at the beginning of my cannabis career. The way I look at it, it's so early on for, this first real business, 30,000 square feet, 1,500 lights, I'm operating another 50 employees, and this is all in under 1 year of this new facility. So, we've had a lot of good growth, and, we've been able to see the foresight of where this industry might lead to. That's why we had a whole, very, efficient business model, very eco-friendly practices, double tier vertical integration. And, that's where I see the future for this company.
Hmm. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned like curating the right strain, like when you were back in your days in New York City, and now you're doing that just in a larger scale. And it's perfect because I wanted to, during this podcast, I wanted to share my screen. Apologies for those that are just listening and not watching the podcast on the YouTube channel. But here, if I can move this out of the way, um, is your website, and it has this strain library, which, man, it's really impressive, the different strains and the beautiful flower that you have here. So as I scroll, if you want to quickly kind of just talk through some of them, maybe highlight two.
I'm a
That
big Biscotti fan. That's something I'm sure that I've always loved when it kind of hit the market. A nice OG with the gelato. Just for my type of smoke. That's really what I like for my daily use. But I like that I try everything that comes out of this facility. I R&D everything before I make decisions. Most of these strains aren't any of our proprietaries that we did our phenos and kind of hunted ourselves for seed popping. This was kind of a curated list, as you said, that I chose from some of the best nurseries. To dial in a rooms of this scale is, a very, long-term process, and as well as the pheno hunting and proprietary strain aspect of it. So I really wanted to give everyone take a chance to, take my take on what my favorite gelato cut was, or my take on my favorite biscotti cut is, and really present that to the market so they can really, choose apples with apples, and, see this product for this price at this market, and, compare it to maybe some of the top tiers in the industry. And, maybe they'll get a similar result, and, see that they've actually saved, maybe $20-$30 an eighth. I'm geared to providing boutique quality cannabis at scale so that consumers can enjoy luxury products without having to cost an arm and a leg, especially for the ones who are daily active users, which, a lot of them are out there.
Yeah. And so that's like brings up a good question. So for someone listening that has no idea, like when you say like your take on that particular strain, like what you're saying, basically there's different ways to cultivate these different strains.
Well, as well as there's many different cultivars of a gelato. There's gelato 33, but there's probably, hundreds of gelato 33 cuts, all have been crossed or pheno hunted based on their favorite terpene profile, based on the smell, based on the structure, based on the yield. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just, saying, this is a gelato. These are things that, there's thousands of different phenotypes of this gelato, and you choose one, and then you present that, like I said, based on its different criteria, is that, many people have different likes, whiskey drinkers, vodka drinkers, tequila drinkers, mellow high, active high, sativas, indicas, So I don't think there's a big enough emphasis these days on the actual effects of the cannabis plant as opposed to the THC, quality of it and how high it is, because at the end of the day, it's, you want to get a good feeling out of it, and maybe you want to do it for productive reasons, or maybe to relax. And I think we should be educating the consumer more on that aspect of the plant, as opposed to, hey, this is 40%, man, you have to buy it.
Yeah. And I agree 100%, right? I mean, the terpenes, the flavonoids, everything that's kind of combined with the particular strain, whether it be, a hybrid indica, a sativa as well, like all that stuff matters, and it affects us differently based off of our own unique genotype, right?
Exactly.
And so one thing that interests me is that I've heard quite a bit like this chasing for the THC potency, right? The highest level, like you just mentioned, 40%. Is that happening? Like, would you say that is happening everywhere in every state where it's adult use, or like in states where California is a bit more mature in the market? Like, are consumers looking at that, or are they more well versed in, again, the terpene profile, the entourage effect, and so on?
Really great question. I'm really trying to understand, I guess, how we got to this point. I don't know if I have an answer for this question, but I think it's at the same time.
Is it like that in California though? Like, are a lot of people chasing THC also?
They are, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go
So,
ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, I mean, I think it's, at the same time, people are always trying to push the envelope a little, in grow practices. And, if you figure out a way to increase your THC potency, it's like, as a grower or anyone who's, R&D or interested in industry, you want to understand how you're increasing these numbers, right? So from like a scientific perspective, like, yeah, I think it's great. We're constantly pushing the envelope. We're able to push the plant to produce such high THC. So when you look at it from that facet of the matter, it is very interesting on how we're getting there. But at the same time, I don't think it needs to be such a big selling point to the consumer, especially when, most of these consumers, aren't as well educated or versed.
You nailed it. That's what I was gonna say. It's lack of education. I mean,
Yeah,
I think the market's so new still, right? That
it
like
is.
that you don't see people chasing like buying Everclear on the daily, right? Like people aren't drinking 100 proof alcohol, when they're winding down after work. It's, they're looking for the different type of liquor or wine, or whatever it pairs with, and all that type of stuff, just like how I think cannabis will eventually be, but it's going to have to come with a lot of education.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Good. I see that cool hat that you're wearing there. For those, again, sorry if you're just listening. The Good brand, apparently the logo is this really awesome, what is it, like a smiley face or
It's a smiley face with two G's in there. We're
two
gonna
G's
closer
in
look
there?
for the camera.
Yes. That's so
all
cool,
all of
man.
our merch is available. Hit me up.
Well, we're at the end. You'll be able to let them know where people can find your store because it is really cool. So tell us about the Good brand. What are y'all all about? What are you trying to convey with that brand?
So Good Good is Yellow Dream Farm's first house brand that is direct to consumer. With Good Good, we're really trying to target young millennials looking for, a cannabis brand that kind of resonates with their lifestyle, kind of how it resonates with mine. People are always fascinated with kind of the new thing on the block, the new thing on the market, whether it comes from a fashion or music. Anytime you can bring something to your friend group that's new and hip that they haven't seen before, you kind of get a little, you get some perks with it. People are thinking, you're staying up to date. So, if anything, Good was, I'm trying to create as kind of curators and tastemakers industry, always kind of bringing the new and latest, greatest strains to the market, products, and with the whole model of that boutique quality at scale with Yellow Dream Farm, backing us through this. This partnership is allowing to get that price down with us owning the supply chain, us being self-distributed, packaging everything in house, and we've allowed to get our product to market quickly to the retailers quickly, so it's fresh. So when the consumer enjoys it, it's still in good form. A lot of times, product is getting to the consumer already, 60 days from the package time. So we want to make sure the consumer is getting a fresh product at an affordable price, and it's comparing and competing with hopefully the top brands on the market. Once we start, getting the product out there.
Yeah, and you've mentioned, obviously you guys' big focus is quality flower at scale. So within the Good brand, is it just flower that you sell, or is there other formulated products?
We have our flower products, and then we have an extract line that we're doing with all solventless extracts. It's going to be batters, diamonds, vape pens. But we originally wanted to hit the market, kind of be known as a flower brand. That is my primary goal, is to be known as a flower brand. The extracts is, I think, just kind of a little extra and something that I plan to, do a little more development on later on. But for now, we want to be positioned, pushing our flower products, pre-rolls, eighths, pre-roll packs, 5 gram smalls, and everything at a, a very affordable cost.
Mm-hmm. And the Good products, where can people find those? I mean, I know obviously probably through your website, but I mean, are you on shelves anywhere in different dispensaries?
Yeah, we're in the LA area, Hollywood, the Valley, High Desert, San Francisco. So we're gaining our reach, brick by brick, and as I said, we're self-distributing for ourselves. We're building our own contacts. We're building our Rolodex of people, and we continue to making sure that our customer are satisfied with this experience, and then we can continue to build and grow. Knowing where we have the supply chain to do so.
Mm-hmm. So going back to the Yellow Dream Farm brand, I know that I saw on the website y'all provide B2B or just business to business services, such as cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, and white label.
Correct.
So you want to talk about some of those, you know, customers or partners that you work with, yeah, and what do they look like, right? How big are they? What kind of footprint do they have?
A lot of the flower brands don't want to be named because they want to, make sure that, a lot of people assume that they own their supply chain as well. And many of them do. And some of them are outsourcing, to making sure that, they have outreach their demand, which is great. So I can't say any names, but, we're working with a lot of big brands. They're loving our flower products. We package for them, we distribute for them. And we do a lot of bulk wholesale as well. We're cultivating 1,000 pounds a month. My end goal is to have everything packaged and retail through a variety of brands. But for now, that's kind of the bread and butter of our cash flow and revenue right now. And slowly and surely we're building up more product to be allocated towards the Good brand as we start having the demand.
Mm-hmm. As I was doing, some research before this podcast, I think I saw somewhere there was this connection of Yellow Dream Farm and Hall of Flowers. And I just recently talked to Christina DePaci, excuse me, from Paradiso, and she talked to me about the art auction collab with Young Jake for Last Prisoner Project at Hall of Flowers. Is that what y'all were involved in, or was there something else that was going on?
So Hall of Flower is probably one of the biggest B2B conferences in the cannabis industry. They hosted 2 or 3 times a year. This specific one was in Palm Springs. It was their first Palm Springs conference, or I guess, it's B2B retailers, brands, where you can go showcase your products, network, introductions. And, it was a great experience, as this was our first entry point into the market. We were able to, gain a lot of traction from a lot of local brands kind of coming up, checking out our flower, kind of, give us kind of pat on the back, which is also a great feeling. And then most importantly, getting that consumer engagement. You set up a booth, consumers are coming to your stand, they're checking out your products, you get to talk to them about the brand, about the farm, about the products, gauge some reactions, give away some freebies, and, hopefully get some great feedback.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a great event. So it's basically, I mean, is it the largest B2B conference for cannabis, would you say, or one of the largest?
Yes, it's the largest, I would
The
say.
largest. Okay. So it's like I'm asking that because I'm kind of comparing. It's almost like an MJ BizCon basically, but I would like MJ BizCon seems more a little consumer facing. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. And it's a little more, I guess, emphasis on a lot of the production side of it. You have a lot of, agricultural companies, tech companies, software developments, where this is really faced towards consumers, and retailers facing towards brands. So this was a great way to network, to establish some connections in the industry. We got a lot of, retail outlets from it as well. So, at the end of the day, you kind of want to get that ROI from it. It's a pretty expensive place to be at the end of the day. So you want to make sure you're networking, coming home with some leads, and, hopefully closing some deals.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. That's the name of the game at those trade shows for sure.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're in our second week of 2022. What is Yellow Dream Farms, focus for this year, and where do you hope to be, come December?
Right now, our primary focus is building the brand. We spent a lot of time developing our product line. Behind every great brand has to be a great product. And, before we really started pushing the brand, we wanted to make sure we really had our product dialed in, our strain lines dialed in, and making sure that we were coming to market with some top tier flower. And now we were able to do that with, Yellow Dream Farms. And now we have, started our, building out our sales team and really gaining some traction. And, my hope is to, get, 15 to 20% market share within 6 months. And with the sales team that we've just built out, I see it happening. And, we have some distributors looking to get involved as well. So, I'm very excited to see what's to come. And, I'm sure you'll start seeing good a little more often.
Yeah. No, I hope to, man. And like I said, that I mean, for those that again are not watching, the hat, the good logo is really, really cool. I'm definitely gonna have to get some merch and wear it on the podcast. And speaking of the merch, Jeffrey, where can they find that cool merch so they can purchase some of that stuff, or even just look up your flower from your website?
And they can go to smokegoodgood.com. They can check us out on Instagram at smokegoodgood. Anyone will respond, and hopefully you give us a follow.
Awesome. Jeffrey, is there anything else that you want to cover before we say goodbye here?
I think I'm good. I'm happy to answer any more questions that you may have.
I'm all good, man. You've done a great overview of the company. I mean, the farm and the good brand, and yeah, just getting to know your background. I look forward to following y'all's progress and having you back on as y'all evolve and continue to grow.
Would love to.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you all for listening. Bye.